All right, welcome back. Hills and Twos. No idea what episode we're on. I'm Tim. This is not Shay, as you can see. No Shay today. Shay raced in Indiana this morning, so he gets back tonight.
Good job, Shay.
So yeah, we got girl grade.
Never mind.
We had DNF.
Okay.
Shay's been sick all week.
Okay.
Shay's been sick all week. So I didn't know if he was gonna race. I didn't think he was gonna race, honestly. But yeah, he like couldn't breathe at all.
Okay, well, good effort then.
Tough. Yeah, he got out there. He gritted it out. So yeah, obviously, I'm sitting, I guess not to the Spotify listeners, sitting next to Drew Hunter right now. Thanks for coming in, dude. So,
Glad to be here.
We were just saying, what? So this is the second in-person one we've done. We filmed one with our other roommate, Parker. Mm-hmm. That was just so awkward because it was just the three roommates just sitting there, and we were like, what are we going to talk about? We do this all day, every day. Yeah. Unusable. So that one never came out. So yeah, second in-person one. The first in-person one and the only in-person one was Sal's.
Oh, when he was...
See, Caleb. Was talking about Penn, which will bring us to the first listener question that we have.
All right, let's hear it.
And I got to show you the wording of it, and I think they got the event wrong. But
okay,
let's find this here. Who really won that DMR at Penn? And the really is in all caps.
Okay, well... Obviously, I really won the DMR there. He had a 9-second lead, and he had the inside lane when we started kicking with, 60 meters to go or whatever. So I really won because I had to do a lot more work than he did. So
were you surprised when he let you back in it? Were you like, what is this guy doing right now?
Well, there was two strategies, right? It was, okay, I run as hard as I possibly can, and I outrun Drew, or... I know that Drew has to run all out from the beginning, and I save a kick, knowing Drew won't. I think the problem is Jack's only mistake is he kind of did wishy-washy.
Yeah, he didn't fully commit right away. Yeah.
Because he went out hard, but then he slowed up.
Yeah.
So if I was him, I would have committed to one or the other. Like been like, okay, I'm going to just start running, 64s, let Drew catch me, and then know that I have a great kick. Because, Jack was obviously... a very, very good runner.
Yeah, aside from you, he was the best dude in that race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, that's the strategy that, he could have done. Or try to run, 403, 402, which he was capable of. And, I wouldn't have enough real estate to catch him. So, but, it was that's like the most brought up race. I'm sure.
How often are you asked about that?
All the time.
How often do you go on YouTube and the greatest comeback ever is the first video right there? Yeah,
that's that race is, I think, brought up the most when people think of races I've been a part of, which makes sense. I mean, it's a relay, it's a team race, and it's Penn relays. Exactly. You kind of check all the boxes there.
Yeah. So awesome. So what are you doing in DC? What brings you here?
Yeah, I have so I just finished up my season in Europe. I had 5 races I had 4 races. I paced a race, so I was in 5 races. And yeah, I just finished up my season, and I kind of have now some, just sponsorship stuff that I got to do, which I actually like doing, so it's not like I have to do, but I'm doing a community run event. So Tinman Elite, we dropped some shoes, and we have some new shoes coming out. Awesome. And they're at this running store, Pacers, that we have a great relationship with. So I'm going to kind of do a little group run with people, just meet some people, show people the shoes. So yeah, and any chance I get to come back to DC, I like to, because I'm from not. Yeah, so
how far away are you? You're from what, Loudoun Valley, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Loudoun County, Virginia, and I went to Loudoun Valley High School.
We just long ran there.
Oh, really?
Not this past weekend, the weekend before.
Okay.
We just hit some dirt roads over there. Couldn't tell you the name. There was some little elementary school is the only thing we actually passed. And there's some old little town. I have no idea. Super old town. Still had the 13 colonies flags up. We said the news hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Because it looks so old. But
that's my neck of the woods, man.
Yeah.
I'm an hour outside of DC basically, and yeah, it's exactly how you described it, dirt roads. It's beautiful. It's a great place. I love going up there.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always nice to come back to DC because it does feel just even very familiar, just flying in either to Dulles or Reagan and seeing the monuments, and it's just good to be back.
Yeah. You got in today?
Yep, got in not too long ago. Came straight to the podcast.
Oh, that's a commitment. That's a level of dedication right there.
Yeah.
So, kind of building off this last season, because you had a good year. Mm-hmm. what are your thoughts on this past year, and what does the future look like for you in that sense?
Yeah, it was an interesting year for me. I felt like the end of the year kind of like salvaged what I thought was a very like mediocre season. And if I were to give myself a grade, it was probably like a B minus. B. It was passing. Like I ran personal bests in the 1500 and mile, and won some races, which is always good and hard to do at the pro level. But I didn't make a world team. I didn't run the world standard until after USA USA period was over. So I definitely felt like I kind of missed out, and I didn't run a good 5K this year. I had some weird, long COVID sickness stuff that I was kind of battling through, but I felt like towards the end of the year, I kind of had some good performances I was proud of. So, but what it means for going forward is just, I feel like the big goal for me is kind of deciding what I want to do the next 2 years. Obviously with, world championships in Budapest next year and then Paris after that. I kind of got to commit to an event, whether it's a 15 or 5. I've been very like mediocre to good in both of them. So it's kind of hard. You have to kind of take your pick with, racing the 1500 guys and trying to beat Cooper, Cole, Centro, or Grant Fisher, who just ran 12:45 in the 5K. So
it's a tough task to look up at.
So I'm just kind of, I'm taking a break right now and resetting. But for next year, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I want to do.
Awesome. So, I mean, yeah, I was going to ask, it's either that 15 or that 5K kind of commitment. You see a lot of like people who grew up as milers.
Yeah.
Kind of got to make that decision at one point or another. So it's always an interesting career path to see which way people go. Like there's the Centro debate on like, is Centro going to do it? Should he do it? I mean, that one 5K he ran like shows that he should do it right now. Like, I mean, which is crazy. But then there's other guys like Robbie Andrews I know pretty well. Like Robbie's never going to run the 5K.
No.
That is never happening. Like,
Robbie will not run the 5K.
He's an 8 guy that moved up. That's not happening. So it's always interesting to see like a former miler's like career trajectory and career path on whether they do that or not.
Yeah.
So we'll get into some listener questions to get going. As usual, there's some of the dumb ones, incredibly dumb ones. Someone wants to know your guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I don't do it. Like I really, really try to like not do it during the season or anything like that. But like I love like just a glass of really nice red wine, and like I don't really drink a lot, but like when I do, I like to have like good wine.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably that at the end of the year.
Any specific kind of red wine in your region you're a fan of? Big vineyard guy?
Yeah, like anything like Cab Sabs from Napa Valley. That's kind of like if I have to gravitate towards something, it's that. But yeah,
Let's Run's gonna get pissed. You're talking about drinking now, bro.
Who?
Let's Run's gonna get really mad. You're talking about drinking, bro.
Yeah,
they were pissed that Cooper mentioned drinking.
Really?
Oh my god,
that's so funny.
It's brutal.
Yeah. But I don't do it a lot, so they can't get that mad.
Yeah, they'll find a way to get mad.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, according to a lot of old guys on Let's Run, I have a lot of growing up to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. From the 65-year-old men in your mom's basement. Okay, who's your favorite tenant in your house of all time? And also, I mean, that was a listener question. That's Joe. Joe asked that one. But how many people have you had collectively stay at your house for like an extended period of time?
Well, we call it Hotel Hunter.
It's pretty funny.
It's just like there's just like a revolving door. Maybe I shouldn't even say this on the podcast. I don't think I've ever locked that door. Like
we don't either.
like and not for, I mean, obviously Boulder's a very safe area. Like you're fine. Nothing bad's going to happen.
Just
but
people coming in and out all the time.
Yeah. I always say like, you're not a good friend of mine if you have to knock on the door. Yeah. Like that's disrespectful. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, but I've going back to this favorite tenant. That's a hard question.
You're gonna make a lot of enemies right now based on this answer.
I mean, like when I think of favorite tenant, I think of like really tidy, really like
do the dishes.
Yes, like do the dishes. I'd say Max, who's our media guy at Tinman Elite.
How do you pronounce his last name? I know how to do it because
it's Max McNerney.
Yeah, okay, because my last name's McInerney, But we're only missing the letter, but that's what makes mine Mac.
No, I saw your name and I was like, I almost texted Max and I was like, I just found your brother. Or
we're definitely related somewhere hundreds of years ago. But somehow the couple letters got
someone misspelled it.
He's MCN makes it Mick, and then my MCI makes it Mac.
Yeah,
I always think that's funny when I see you guys like post stuff. I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah,
it's funny.
But yeah, I'd say Max is like, he's like the least controversial person. So like, he's not going to be messy. He's like a great person to have a conversation with. And he's like my best friend. So it's just kind of like, yeah. And he always pays on time.
That's good.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Okay. I think this is a really good question that someone asked. Do you ever feel like a victim of your own success kind of due to all the attention and pressure that you had being so successful in high school and going professional out of high school?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we all kind of fall into the comparison trap. I was very, I ran, national class times all throughout high school, but then I broke, a national record. And you kind of expect that to carry over to college, running collegiate records or winning NCAA titles. And then after college, you kind of expect it to be like, okay, now I'm winning USA championships and, breaking American records. And that has not at all been my career trajectory. And I've had successes, I've had things I've been really proud of and like great races at the pro level, but it definitely has felt like I haven't run as nearly as well as I did compared to in high school. And it's not for lack of effort or anything. I feel like I used to be more upset by it, but now I kind of just really try to hone in on being the best runner I can be every day. And then the results at the end of the season or the day is, I can live with those. Yeah. Like I was really proud of this year just because like I knew, my coaches knew, my teammates knew, all the little setbacks I had, and I kept going, kept pushing, and ended up running PRs. And, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not, I haven't run under 3:30 in the 1500. I haven't run under 13 minutes in the 5K, but I do feel like I'm kind of winning the, little battles every day.
Yeah. And as long as I feel like that's the most important thing. Like, as long as you can look in the mirror, everyone's going to have their expectations. You're going to have the shit posters on Let's Run. You're going to have like people who don't understand, but as long as you know what you're doing and you can only control yourself. You can't control, I feel like, all those outside pressures and those
absolutely
things.
Yeah. No. And it's definitely like, I don't know, if you still love it and are having fun doing it, that's pretty much all you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, why can't you beat Sam Parsons in any European 1500s?
I'm guessing Sam Parsons
did ask that question.
Yeah, so a little backstory. A few years ago, I was over in Europe with Sam, and my agent last second was like, Drew, I got you into this loaded Barcelona 1500. You got to fly there. I was planning on going to Italy and running a 1500 against Sam. And I was like, sweet, like, let's do it. I think like Suleiman was in it. Like, it was like, Ray was like, okay, it's gonna be like low 3:30 race, and get over to Barcelona. Sam is in the, the JV 1500 I was in before in some race in Italy. And I just had like a really bad race. I was like out the back. It was a huge field, and I ran like 3:38, like 3 or something. And Sam in Italy had the best time. Like, the race was on the beach. That's good. It was like nice. They had like the best buffet. They had like bottomless wine after the race. Like, it was like, it was a lovely race. And I was like by myself in Barcelona. Like, nothing was open all day because people party, all night in Barcelona. And so I couldn't even get like a good lunch or anything. Like, and Sam ran like 3:38 too. And so it was kind of just like a joke because like I was debating whether to go or not. And then again, this year, same thing happened. I'm in Padua 1500 in Italy, and he goes to Berlin and runs before me and runs 3:36 too. And I ran 3:36 3. So, and so that's kind of been the theme. But he's just dodging.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's scared. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so
that's our clickbait. The Sam Parsons is scared of Drew Hunter.
Yeah,
it's better than anything that came out of the Cooper Tier 1.
Yeah.
Okay, post-running life plans.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of things that I feel like I'm really interested. Someone asked me at Sound Running, like, if you weren't running right now, what would you be doing? And for those who don't know, I just got married.
I was just going to bring that out.
Got some new bling. And my wife and I always talk about, like, we love the idea of opening up, like, like a luxury bed and breakfast. That's just like kind of both of our interests. Like I'm interested in real estate type stuff, like buying land, building something that's our own. And she's like, everything she touches, she can make like beautiful. So like more of like the interior design part of it. And like we both just love like good food, and you know, like that idea is like something that I think I would like to explore. So maybe something along those lines. I'm definitely interested in seeing, you know, like starting with maybe like having a few Airbnbs and then like having, you know, like an inn or something like that. So I just really like the idea of like hospitality or something, something along those lines.
Well, there's like 15 Airbnbs up for sale. Not Airbnbs, B&Bs for sale where I live. So
all right.
You want a nice little spot on the beach.
Perfect.
If you got $5 million in the bank right there, you can.
I don't have that.
At minimum, get some of them. Okay, we'll go with our last listener question from the world-renowned Joe Hale. What is your favorite religion? What the fuck?
Religion?
Yeah, you don't have to answer that.
I'm a Catholic, so probably that.
Same, bro. Nice. There you go. All right, we'll go with the real last one. Favorite junk food that isn't red wine?
Favorite junk food? That's a good question. It cycles. Right now, and I don't even know if this would be considered a junk food, but like I just got back from Italy, and like I've been having like just like a chocolate croissant like every single day, and it's definitely not good for me right now.
You're like the kid that went abroad for a semester and comes back and it's just like,
he's like, I'm a
they pronounce it mozzarella. That person.
So I'd say that right now, but it ebbs and flows. Like sometimes I'll be in like a pint of ice cream every night phase, and then just so right now I'd say like I'm just having way too many pastries. So
that's not a bad problem.
There's
a couple good DC spots.
I know.
Bunch of good DC friends. My roommate, it's probably downstairs right now. No idea where he is. I see him once a week. He's from France.
Okay. Nice.
But okay, so as far to my knowledge, the Tinman Team Adidas deal is up after Paris, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you guys thinking? As much as you can say. I know that's a sensitive.
Oh, no. I mean, I think we obviously love, you know, our partnership with Adidas, and we obviously love to continue that, but that's kind of out of my hands. We want, you know, at Tinman Elite, our mission has always been like to have amazing world-class athletes, and then also have like, you know, world-class people and people that care about running, want to make running a better place, want to make, you know, the sport more fun. You know, and I think that we would like to continue that after 2024. I don't know what it looks like. I think a lot of us have talked like with 2028 being in LA, that would be a great place.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Like that would be a great, you know, it'd be cool to get 4 more years of this and see if we can do that. But you know, right now I think we're so focused on the next 2 years. Gosh, I sound like a politician. Focus on
I just want to help you.
Yeah. Focus on the next 2 years and see like, you know, how good we can make the team. But obviously I feel like, you know, the running world without a Tinman Elite would be a little, there wouldn't be as much drama and excitement going on.
Be a little dull, yeah. I mean, you guys changed the whole running content genre, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is it everything you wanted it to be? I mean, it came with a lot of harsh criticism from a bunch of nobodies that don't know what they're talking about, as it always will. But like, you know, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you changed it. It's now going in a complete, I don't even know, upward trajectory right now. And what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the current state? You know, what it can be?
Yeah. I think it just depends on who you're asking. I mean, for me, it's been amazing to see, like I'll never forget, like, you know, when we started to create Tinman Elite and we sold like 30 t-shirts. I mean, these were like cotton tees with our logo on it.
So like one right there I got for you. Here, Luke, throw that over here.
Yeah.
Throw that white shirt over here.
Let's see it.
There you go. Here's your cotton tee with the chest logo there.
Oh yeah, this Tinman logo right here. So that's funny. Yeah. Those are the best tees.
Oh, they're great. My family owns a t-shirt shop. So
nice.
I'll take what I can get.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I think that part of like the sport was so amazing for me, is like showing up to races and looking in the stands and seeing Tinman Elite gear. Like
kids are wearing something you created, like people you don't know. I mean,
and that's not like, that doesn't happen in our sport. You know, like you have
like a version of like the stop pre shit.
Exactly. You go to any other sporting event and you have a million, LeBron jerseys
Yeah.
or like Damian Lillard jerseys, like whatever it may be. And like, that's not something that you see in track and field. And so to show up to races and have like a mob of people come up to us is like, I mean, it makes what we're doing like very, very meaningful and fulfilling. But then, you know, the flip side of the coin is like having a camera in your face all the time is hard. Like having, you know, so like, because you have to share the parts that you don't want to share. You know, I've had a kind of a bad last few years. Like running hasn't been great for me. It's been okay. But like, if we have to be authentic, we have to share that, and we have to show, you know,
to be vulnerable. You know, to people. Yeah.
And so I think, you know, it comes, you know, with the territory, but like it's been very, very cool. But it's also cool to see like big brands and other people in the sport, like using the Tinman method and showing like, oh, I mean, like this is how you grow.
It's now the direction of where everyone's going. It's like you wouldn't. Like New Gen wouldn't exist without Tinman. Yeah. Well, I doubt that Shay and I would be doing this without some Tinman influence. Like all these coffee club, I doubt that exists without Tinman. Like without Tinman, because you guys laid out that blueprint to like, look, this is how you guys can have success, build your own. I guess I hate saying that, but personal brand. Yeah. You know, so they can like. I'm sure Morgan next contract is going to make a lot more money. Yeah. Because of what he does outside of just running now. He's a personality now. Everyone loves Morgan McDonald.
Yeah. Like, no, totally. Like, and that's the important part because like. You want high school kids and college kids and, you know, anyone or even younger than that, like to look up to someone and say like, oh, I see, you know, something that a little bit of me in that person and they've run under 13 minutes in the 5K. Yeah, exactly. But they're just like Morgan McDonald, like he's a goofball, but he is one of the best runners in the world. He
normalizes it a little bit. He makes it connectable. Your weird high school cross country kids in the locker room are like, oh my God, he's like me.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
Whereas like Grant, for example, you don't see that side of him. They don't have cameras there. Yeah. It's very like Bowerman stuff is just, you know, like Courtney White pictures, which are great. I mean, they're beautiful pictures, but you don't see that raw side of them, and it doesn't human. Like I think the Shelby stuff would have gone, and we don't have to talk about that because that's radioactive, but it would have gone a lot differently. I think the public opinion would have maybe been on their side more if they were a more personable group of people. Yeah. And that's not to say anything about them as people, but just their media strategy.
No, totally. And it's so interesting because like, you know, the Bowerman team has, in terms of performance, the best stories to tell. Yeah. Like you have Grant Fisher who like just ran 12:45. Like, I mean, I still
been the camera in Grant's face this whole year. They better be working on something right now.
I mean, yeah, like 12, it blows my mind. Like 12, they're 13:45 is a good 5K time, and that's a minute slower than what Grant just ran. Crazy. So yeah, you know, I do hope that we get to see a glimpse because like I know Grant's a friend of mine, and Grant is like a grade A dude. Like he is such he is such a good guy, and I'm like, people need to know, like, but he's also very normal. Like he, you know, like he's right now he's in Europe vacationing with Centro and Mark Scott. You know,
so they like went out last night. He's not a robot.
No, exactly.
Like, and people need to see that to make it relatable. To make like in terms of that growing the sport hashtag good for the sport argument. Like you need to see stuff like that. And I think, like I said, I think you guys laid out the blueprint as to how to do that. How did that? Because I know you guys have talked about the formation of Tinman as a team, but how did that content kind of model? Like who pushed that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was, so just to go back a little bit earlier to, you know, kind of the ideas, me, Sam Reed, and Tyler Mueller, who's not on the team anymore, but ran with us for a little bit.
I remember that.
We kind of just started, we just wanted something to represent. We'd show up to these pro races and we'd be training together. We were, you know, like best friends, like, but we were kind of like, okay, like, what do we represent that shows like our unity together? Yeah. And so we kind of start to, you know, work on a logo and work on, you know, like, okay, can we make some merch? Can we make, you know, can we do a group run after a race and, you know, get some people, you know, get to know some people. And then all of a sudden we just saw like how, like I mentioned earlier, how fulfilling it was for all of us, where we would show up to races and we'd actually have people there rooting for us, you know, like cool. It's really cool. Yeah. And then after that, it was like, oh, we can actually turn this into a business. I think all of us are very like entrepreneurial minded. Yeah. Like I didn't go to college.
Freaking Adidas shoe now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think all of us kind of were like, man, like we can do something with this outside of, you know, okay, I got a running contract. I'm going to run until that contract's up. I'm going to see how fast I can run. And then I'm going to peace out and get a normal 9-to-5 job. And it was like, no, like let's what can we do? Can we have a camp one day? Can we, you know, have like a women's team one day? Can we have all these different things? And I think that kind of that snowball, that excitement of new ideas started to come. And then of course, like, you know, we have so grateful that like it all kind of worked out where, you know, Sam always kind of envisioned all this stuff. Like he loves like the marketing. He loves like the storytelling. Yeah. Max, my best friend, picked up a camera and learned how to make amazing videos. You know, like now like Max is going to be the most sought after. His production
is incredible.
And exactly. And so like we had that going for us. And then Reed was a journalism major and was able to, you know, really captivate people with his words. And so we kind of had all these pieces that kind of fell into place. Yeah. And then, you know, all of a sudden it was like people want, I mean, that's what I always tell people, like track and field, like wants like people doing stuff because like it's, you know, there's so many people that run, there's so many people that want to cling to something, but they just didn't. It's like you just said, like, you know, there was the Oregon Project and there was, you know, some of the villains on that team and like there was some, you know, some cool things, but it was like you didn't know enough. You couldn't actually connect with those people.
Yeah. Just give you storylines with no substance. It was just you know, rumor based.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, you know, we just kind of were like, let's tell people what it's like to, you know, be a professional runner and let's tell people what it's like to, you know, show up to Europe and run races. Let's tell people what it's like to train in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah. And all of a sudden we were like, wait, people actually want it.
That was something the sport was missing and still even is missing. Even like my dad before every episode, he's like, ask them like, what do they do in their free time? Like no one knows what a pro runner does with their life outside of pro running. Like I asked Cooper, he's like, bro, it's boring. Like I just sit here. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, so stuff like that, I don't know, just showing people your everyday, you know, stuff. I don't know. I think it goes a long way.
For sure.
In terms of building yourself up, but also building the rest of the sport up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a segment. It's called Questions from Our Mom. So today will just be questions from my mom.
Perfect.
Which is just fancy for my mom does a deep dive internet stalk on you and comes up with a question. Where is it?
I'm interested to see what this will be.
I know. It's a very good question. She does her research.
Nice.
She's all good. She's pulled stuff out on people, and people are like, "What?
Yeah,
what? Like, how'd you know that?" There we go. Sorry. Okay, so my mom would like to begin with saying, "Congratulations on getting married."
Thank you.
She said,
"Moms love that."
I think this is one of your more recent Instagram posts where you said, "Love is the best of me." Do you think that having a strong relationship with your mom, as she's your coach, has shaped your views on balancing a successful running career and personal life?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a mom question right there.
That is a mom question.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for me, having my mom coach me is like, first off, it's very, very hard. You're balancing two relationships.
Yeah. Is it tough to turn on that, like turn off
all the
on
time
that mom and coach relationship?
And I think both myself and my mom would admit that is like there are times when we should be better about being mom and son. Yeah. And then there should be times where we should be coach and athlete. Yeah. And, but I think, you know, through like the last few years, like I have learned so much about myself and like, you know, it's like failing in front of your parents is like really, really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I take that on even more now because my mom's my coach. Yeah. And like when I run bad or, you know, have a bad race, it reflects like also on her. And so I think like, I feel like I want to adopt more like responsibility and maturity in my running career and be like, okay, like you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing your family. Yeah. You know, my mom as my coach, but also as my mom. Yeah. And you kind of have to, you know, you wear all those hats. But it's also like, you know, I'm the first to tell people on the camera, like it's been hard. Like there's been times where, you know, we've had to like duke it out with each other and be like, you know, get really upset. But at the end of the day, like it is cool because like you can come together and know that like your mom loves you unconditionally. Yeah. And, you know, you can like really kind of like refocus and make the best in each other. And that's, you know, that relationship I feel like does kind of carry over to the rest of my life where it's like, it is like what I'm doing is very unique. Like I think of like, you know, obviously like Jakob had his dad coach him, but it's really rare that you have a mom coaching you and leading the helm of a professional team. Yeah, so
absolutely. What was that transition like from her perspective, do you think? You know, how was that like? I feel like you guys are probably pretty frequently asked about, you know, what the coaching change was like for you guys. And I asked Sam that, I asked Joey that, so I won't beat the dead horse. But for her, what was like what was that like from, you know, you're outside looking in?
It was not easy. She got a lot of criticism from people. You know, she had a lot of people kind of tearing her down on the fingerboards. And I think, like, my mom was a world-class high school coach. Like, she coached.
Yeah, I resented your team with all of my heart.
Yeah.
You guys were our fucking rivals. I got an elevator, and I was like, oh, they're in here. I was like, damn it.
Exactly. So, like, but pro running's different. You know, it's a different time of the year. It's a different system. You're working with, like, adults. It's very, like, it's different. And I think the hardest part for her was just having the confidence that she belonged and she could do it. I think, you know, she had a little bit of imposter syndrome at first, being like, I'm surrounded by Jerry Schumacher and Dathan Ritzenheim, and these guys were amazing runners themselves. They've already coached amazing pro runners. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think all of us quickly reminded my mom, like, hey, it's just coaching. You love coaching. You can
You're
coach.
here for a reason. Kind of thing.
Like, you know, when we went into the process of figuring out who we wanted to hire, like, all the guys on the team were like, what about your mom? It wasn't like me being like, hey, guys, I'm going to...
Yeah, and I feel like that's what people probably thought happened.
Exactly,
you were like, it's my mom or nothing else.
Yeah, I was literally like, hey, this is like, this is an option, but this is not like at all. Like, I am totally open to other considerations or anyone else. So I think, you know, that was kind of... but like I was saying earlier, like the confidence of just being like, for her showing up and being like, I prepared these guys best for this race. And like, and now I think she has that. I mean, last year, like every guy on the team had a great year. Like, every guy PR'd, from 1500 all the way up to marathon. Like every single guy on our team that was healthy, like set PRs last year, like were better than they were the year before. And I think, you know, with those successes, backing up what her training and backing up, you know, what we did last year, she's just going to get more and more confident.
Yeah. When are you guys getting an 800 guy on the team too, man? What's going on?
I don't know. We'd love to have one.
A couple years eligibility over here. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to play a new game. This was Shay's idea. I wish Shay could have been here for this. There's one picture in specific that he wanted to use that I couldn't find that I know I saw the other day. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you follow the No or do you see the No Context track account?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's very entertaining.
So you know what post I'm talking about? They posted one fairly recently. I think it was you, Tucker, and like, was it Rupp or someone?
Oh, yes.
Really old picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I couldn't find that one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a couple pictures for the video version. I'll pop the pictures on the screen. Yeah. And you're going to have to provide some context.
Oh, okay.
So just tell me what the fuck was happening and all of these. So this is context.
Does he run the No Context account?
I don't. They like brushed me. I had a video with Rupp that was pretty funny and they kind of like brushed me off. But they ripped, and I knew they were going to do it. They ripped part of the Cooper episode.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on right away.
They had some gold in that.
Yeah, there was. I was like, everything on here is going to end up there. Yeah. Okay, so the first picture. You guys, the seeds.
Yeah.
Drew and Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Young Drew and Mike Tyson. What year was this?
That was on the way to pre-classic my senior year in high school. Wow. And Mike Tyson asked me, he said, are you a runner? How cool is that? So I went up to him. So cool. I went up to him because we were in San Francisco airport, and my dad goes, hey, that guy has the same face tattoo as Mike Tyson. And then my dad looked and he's like, that is Mike Tyson. And I was like, oh my God. Like Mike Tyson's like famous, you know? Like he's not like some boxer
my Mike Tyson poster's in my room. I was going to say, it might be right here right now.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like my dad was like, go get a photo with him. So I went over to Mr. Tyson and was like, I'm sure I said that. I was such a dorky, like cross country.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Tyson. Can I have a photo with you? And I went up to him and he was so nice.
Really?
Like his security team was like went up to me and they're like, sir, like please leave him alone. And he was like, no, I want to talk to him. And so he went up to me and he was like, how you doing? What's your name? And he was like, and he looked at my shirt and I had a cross country shirt on or something like you can see in the photo. And he's like, are you a runner? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to pre-classic this weekend, and he was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And he said like, "My daughters are or something like that." Yeah. And I got a photo with him, and then everyone in the airport realized it was Mike Tyson. I was the first person, and they swarmed him, and I was the only person who got a photo. His security team didn't let anyone else get it. So it was crazy. But yeah, that's like when people ask me who's the most famous person you've ever met, I'm like Mike Tyson.
That's an easy answer. I have a similar story, except with probably the least famous person I've ever met, who was a jerk. How closely do you follow basketball?
I used to follow it more.
Basketball? Do you know the Ball family?
Yes.
Okay. So
of course, yeah.
We're sitting in the airport last year. We're about to go to JDL.
Okay.
To run a DMR.
Yeah.
Which did not go well because we fell. But we're going to JDL. We're in some. I don't know if we were in Reagan in DC. We were in some airport. It might have been a layover or something.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people in like the Hornets G League teams gear. So we're like, all right, that's funny. Like G League guys, whatever. They're all like 5'11", and they're never making it. And then I'm there with our three guys, my coach, and we're like, that's Jello Ball. Like the least famous Ball brother. Yeah. Like that's LiAngelo Ball. That's funny. And they're all sitting there at some table. Airport, like the terminal where we are is empty. Like the gate is empty. So we're sitting there for a while, and we're just kind of hanging out. And I talk to the guys, talk to my coach. I'm like, I guess I'll ask him for, like, you never know. I've had this, like, policy with myself. It's like, don't ask really famous people for pictures because they probably do it all the time. Yeah. They have a life to live. They're probably like, fuck this kid. I got to take a picture. Like, they're probably tired of it. I thought LiAngelo Ball is well under the standard of fame in which, like, that's the kind of minor celebrity you ask for a picture. Right? I feel like that was fair. And we're about to board. And it's like a tiny plane. Like it is so small. So we're about to board, and I'm like, yo, Joe, can I get a picture? And like 3 dudes, like he's with like 8 dudes that are like Hornets trainer, or not Hornets, the G League team's trainers, all that stuff. Like, no, we don't do that. And I was like, and he didn't even like look at me, and he just looked away. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh my
You're the G League team for the Hornets. You're Jello Ball. You're not Lonzo. You're not Melo. You're here in the Ball family hierarchy. Yeah. This is good for you. This is great for you. Yeah. So he didn't do it, and then we have to get on the same plane, and the plane is tiny. And
first class?
No. So that was the best part. It's like he looked to try to sit in one, and like someone said no or something. So we're sitting there. I got the exit row, which on that flight might as well have been first class. So I'm sitting there. And there were like 2 seats open. And I think I was sitting next to my coach, and there were like 2 seats open in front of us. And we were like, please sit here. Like, please sit down. He didn't. But he had to go sit in this like tiny like window. So he had to get past some like old lady. And he's like squeezing. I'm like, that is karma coming and get your ass for not taking your Jello Ball. All right, buddy. You're only on the G League because your brothers are famous.
Oh, my gosh. That's so good.
Okay, we got our second no context picture. So could you provide some context to the 99-cent sunglasses picture?
Oh my gosh.
Where were you going in that fit? Is that a vest?
Yeah,
is
that a sweater vest? Yeah, with a white bow tie.
That is a big tie.
Yeah.
That is a really big bow tie.
That's first off, shout out to my high school friend Sam. I haven't seen this photo in so long.
I went deep to find some of these.
I think we were at like an overnight meet, and we were all the guys on the team.
To dinner. You were like, let's get dressed up.
Yeah, we were like, let's get dressed up. You know, classic.
That's high school. Right?
Yeah. So, and I was like, I'm gonna stunt on everyone with a white bow tie and a vest. So
sweater vest.
Yeah. Now I look at that outfit, I'm like, yo, man, that's
tough.
That was tough. Yeah.
No one's got good outfits at a young age.
Yeah.
Okay. And our last no context picture. I'm more concerned about the location this one was taken in, as it looks like it was taken in a bathroom shower. But
that was with
the
Max.
caption was yeet. Is that Max?
Yeah.
That's
actually really funny. That's Max, who does all of our media stuff. And this was taken in an abandoned house. Not far from where I grew up. Like I said, I kind of grew up in the sticks. I mean, you guys know if you run out there, and there was just an abandoned house, and it was in a bathroom of an abandoned house. And I'm not sure why we decided to take a photo, but that's high school for you.
That is high school for you. It's like let's flick up right here. This is dope. Let me put on my backwards hat. You got a bucket hat on. Okay. We'll close out with one more game. It's just gonna require some thought here. We'll go. We haven't done this yet. 2 truths and a lie. Okay. So think of yours.
You have to go first.
All right, let me think of mine. And I came up with this. I probably should have thought of this ahead of time. Okay. I'm going to have to just cut the pause right now. I want to make sure it's good so we don't fuck this up.
I'm thinking of mine too.
I know. Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have yours?
Yeah.
Okay. So my 3 are I've never broken a bone. What was I going to say? I flipped in a car. And I met Matthew McConaughey.
The lie is the broken bone.
Yeah. A full body cast for 9 months.
That's
shattered my femur.
Oh gosh.
Right here.
That's a bad one to break,
was
man.
not supposed to be able to run though. So things kind of worked out well for me there.
Yeah.
I was going to have a weird gait when I walked. Yeah. I was like,
well, so I have questions about the other 2 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume that was going to happen.
McConaughey is one of my favorites, by the way.
Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's
he's-
just the most Texas dude ever.
Where'd you meet him?
Texas visit.
Really?
Yeah.
He was just there.
It's their minister of culture. Yeah. And they bring you on the field for the football game.
All right.
It was literally like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
he was like looking at Texas or something like that. And I went to shake his hand. He was like this. He was like, shake my hand. He's like, best place on earth, man.
Actually, yeah.
I was
In
like,
the
fuck, I'm
McConaughey
gonna
voice?
go here.
Yeah.
For about a day, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm going here.
Yeah.
This is Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, you're
should
not saying no to that.
Yeah.
And then you flipped in a car.
Yeah. One of my childhood best friends was his family owned like a car dealership, so they had a bunch of like just tons of like toy cars essentially.
Yeah.
Of just like things they can mess around in. And they had like a version of like a no doors, no windows Jeep.
Mhm.
And they had a ton of land. So we were in like 8th grade and we just there were no rules in this family's household. Like they had a dirt bike track and they had a tennis court and skate park and like everything there.
Yeah.
And ton of farmland. So we would just like take the cars out. And this is it could have been so much worse. He had a little brother that was around my little brother's age, and at this time they're probably like 5 or 6 years old, our brothers.
Yeah.
And my brother's a freshman in high school now, so I was in 8th grade, so I could probably do the math if I felt like it. But yeah, my brother was 7.
Okay.
And we tied like a tubing tube for like a boat to the back of this car and just like let it go on the grass. And we did this for like an hour. And like finally I was on it and like my friend took a turn too wide and I started swinging, a tree was coming at me and I was like, oh shit. So I dove off of the thing. But then I realized after the day's ordeal, which is what happened later, was we were just driving around and I was driving, which we didn't tell anyone at the time because it was like for insurance purposes. I had my seatbelt on, he didn't have a seatbelt on, and we were at a part where you'd like make a hard turn and also keep like the tires and like the rivets.
Yeah.
And
oh god,
I guess it just came out. I mean, I had never been behind the wheel of anything. I was 14. I was in
Yeah.
8th grade, and we flipped. We flipped like multiple times. And my friend wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and there was no roof or anything, and he got shot out of the car. I smacked my head on like the metal roll cage, but he shot out of the car. So now there's like all this dust and stuff, and I like kind of become aware, and I just hear him be like, Tim, and I get up, and I was like, what just happened? Like,
yeah.
And he just starts yelling help, and I was like, what? And I go around to his side of the car, and his arm is stuck under the roll cage, and like it's grass. If that was concrete, he might not have an arm today.
Oh my god.
So I'm rattled, and I'm trying to like, he's tiny too. He's like this big, and I'm trying to like get this car off of him. I'm like, I can't like, so I couldn't do it. I run up to his house, which is like a half mile away. And I run inside. I just start screaming everyone in the family's names, like, Pete's trapped under the car. And I run back down, but because they have to like go a long way to drive down there, I end up beating them back down. And I got the car, like I just put everything into it like, under the roll cage, and I got it like an inch off, like, leaned off the ground so that he could slide it out. And then I went back to pick up his phone and like the GoPro and stuff we had, and he had 911 dial on his phone. He just didn't hit call yet. I was like, my life would have been over. I think for a while we like, his siblings knew because his brother would make fun. He's like, yo, listen, you, whatever part that like got broken, but I don't know if we ever told his parents. And none one in that family will ever hear this. So
okay I was going to say, yeah. It's now on the internet forever.
But then at the end of the day, I was like, we did a lot of dumb shit that day, and that nothing bad actually came out of it. Like, he didn't even break it, technically.
I was going to say, did he break his arm?
He had to get like a soft cast.
Okay.
If it was like concrete, that arm's gone, but it was grass. So it just kind of got shoved down into the mud. Yeah. That's crazy 8th grade.
I was, jeez.
Getting behind the wheel of a car for no reason.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. What are your 2 truths and a lie?
Okay. My first time flying on a plane was my junior year of high school. I have done 4 semesters at CU.
Okay.
But haven't graduated.
Okay.
And the last one is I have met Kobe Bryant.
Okay. Unless you're trying to trick me on the number of semesters you've done at CU, I'm pretty confident you did semesters at CU. I think plain's a lie.
Nope, the CU semester.
CU?
Yeah.
How many have you done?
I've done 3 semesters.
I remember hearing you're supposed to.
That was a little tricky, but
Yeah.
I thought like
I was trying to think like, all right, did he fly to a race like sophomore year or something like that?
No, yeah, junior year was my first time on a plane going to Foot Locker Nationals.
Okay.
So, and then I have met Kobe Bryant at the ESPYs.
I assumed it was like Gatorade Award, ESPYs, something like that had to have been that because I know a bunch of people who won Gatorade stuff and got to go to the ESPYs, and that's when they met Kobe. So I was like, all right, we're good there.
Yeah.
But damn, that's crazy. How long did you get to talk to Kobe for?
He was actually really nice. Yeah. He was actually really nice.
I've only heard amazing things.
Like I went up to him, asked him for a photo, and he was like super kind. And like in the same time, I went up to Kevin Love and asked him for a photo. And it just blew me off.
Really?
And I was like, Kobe Bryant.
You'd think Kobe would be like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Like, kid. Like no one wants to talk to you.
I know. Yeah. I was like, Kevin, you should be happy I'm asking you for a photo.
Who asked Kevin Love for photos?
I know. Yeah.
Damn,
but
Kevin Love seemed like a nice guy. That's sad.
Yeah. So, oh well.
All right, well, I'll give you one last question. Who's the most famous person that you've met from running that isn't Mike Tyson?
That's a good question. I mean,
or Kobe Bryant.
Like it's funny that I say this, but like I technically have met Usain Bolt.
That's cool.
It was like my junior year of high school. I ran the Dream Mile, which used to be at Icon Stadium in New York.
I was so mad as I got older when they moved that out of there. I was like, I'm from 45 minutes away. This is all I want right now. Like,
and he was at that meet, and like,
that.
I didn't have an interaction with him, so I feel like I can't count that, but like we were in like the same area and like warm up area, and like like I would walk by him and like acknowledge him, and like he made eye contact with me.
I'm sure like young runner you was like, oh my god,
no,
like,
exactly.
Usain Bolt.
I want to say Usain Bolt. Probably
cool.
him.
What about distance runners? Who's your like? Is there one guy that's on that pedestal for you that not even met, but who's like your guy of all time?
I mean, it'd be really cool to like sit down with Eliud Kipchoge. He's just so wise and an amazing runner, and it's just a legend. So probably him. I mean, growing up, I feel like I looked up to a lot of like I looked up to Centrowitz and a lot of other people, but I've now met them.
I mean, what's that dynamic like where now, those guys, like that, what's the saying? Idols turn to rivals.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, I mean, Centro and I are definitely not rivals. I wish I was that good. But
are you going to pull out and be like, Jakob's my rival now?
No,
Are you gonna
no.
drop that?
Yeah, no. But I think it's really cool to be in the same race as those guys, but it's also like, I think a lot of those races are like just, he's an Olympic gold medalist. Yeah. Like he reached the pinnacle of the sport. So it sometimes feels like it's like, I might run.
I know him well, but it's a weird dynamic when you're like, you get that appreciation.
Yeah. Like I'm super grateful for what Matt Centrich has done for the sport. Yeah. Like he won a medal for the USA, a gold medal.
It's like what, 1906?
Or whatever it was.
It's crazy. But that's even like, I feel like that's probably an important part to, I don't know, or difficult to juggle is like, I got to beat these guys, but at the same time, I got to like
totally
appreciate, even like young Tim would be like, holy shit, you sit on the couch with Drew Hunter right now? Like that's the dude that won Penn. Holy shit. That's the dude that didn't win Penn, but won Penn.
Yeah.
But awesome, man. Well, I think that does it.
Sweet.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Awesome. Sweet. Well,